what we have today is so impromptu, literally sitting at an airport, catching up.
And I got to catch a plane.
Yeah, in like 2 hours from now, roughly.
Roughly, yeah, maybe less.
So
So we'll try to record something that's of value to everyone. Whether it is, you're going to say, decide, vote in the comments, subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Yeah, do what it is. I think one of the good things we shared now when we were eating was
We're both dads now.
both dads.
Congratulations,
My
brother.
man.
Congratulations.
And I asked you something about that on switch that switches on when you become a dad, right?
And we had this conversation last year.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, you kind of didn't get it.
I didn't get it at all.
There we go. But now you get it.
And now you were like, dude, I'm coming to Cyprus, this and that. And I was like, I know exactly what we're going to talk about. Because it's like this threshold of, everyone on LinkedIn specifically talks about building your personal brand, showing up, doing this, doing that. And we just discussed the whole, you can be, in my world, like this transactionary thing where people buy results, they buy this. And I've always told the community, knowing you and having met you in person, you are exactly who you are online, in the comments, and with the same energy offline. And
yes,
yeah.
Please. Thank you so much, good sir. Thank you. Yes. This is not for you.
Making it even better now.
There we go.
But it was the question of showing up with a self-serve mentality and just being a person, not even a personal brand, being you unapologetically. And you've grown your audience, you've done all of this just by being yourself.
And not caring about the money.
And not caring about the money.
Which is weird to say, because we're in the money-making business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was a result of what you said last year. Like, when you become a dad, it won't matter. That next email, that next notification, that next Stripe ping, that whatever, you're going to put aside, and I went, yeah. Now, it's like
X-hustle, bro.
Going... I want to be that person online, like, not that you love your clients any less or whatever. You just want to be more of you. You want to live a little more. And like you said, if you don't post, so what?
It's okay, exactly. It's okay. Skip a day, it's fine.
If it doesn't align with you or if something is shaky, it's okay. So we came up with this term called being energetically attractive. And I wanted to hear...
I like that term. Energetically attractive.
Riff on it a little bit.
You know how we both say it. We have both been saying for years, your vibe attracts your tribe.
Yes.
You and I both. I also added a second layer to that quote because it was about alienation. Because the second, and I keep telling this to my clients and my community members as well, they know this. The second you start sharing personal content, personal stories, you're going to annoy some people.
Oh, yeah.
Because not everyone's going to align with you, whether it's energy levels, just attitude, thinking, POV, So you're going to alienate some people, whether on purpose or whether not on purpose. But you will alienate people 100%. This is why I always say, we've all experienced those cases where the money comes in. It's a great project on paper, right? Even on paper, like the client is amazing, but then you start working together and you hate your life.
Yeah.
The vibe is just off, right? Because you did it mostly for the money. This is why I always say, alienate people, because your vibe is going to attract your tribe. But part two, it's also going to kick the pricks.
Oh, nice.
You see?
I like that.
All the negative people who don't align with you, I like to talk about kindness. I like to talk about supporting the underdog. I like to talk about supporting smaller accounts. I come from a very small country. A lot of people don't get that. They don't vibe with that because they come from like metropolises. They come from bigger cities, bigger countries, right? And they've always had everything, let's say. I didn't always have everything, right? I come from a very small place, small earnings, everything. So now with me, it's like there's this inner mission to support other people genuinely without expecting anything in return. But it pisses people off.
Yeah. But
it genuinely pisses people off because they don't get it.
Wouldn't you say, based on that, like everyone online says, attract your audience, attract your client?
I also say alienate all those who you don't need. This is why I like, now I have an extra reason to talk about kindness in my posts, right? Because before I was genuinely doing it because I believe in it, right? That's who I am. But now I have an extra reason because over the years I've learned just how annoyed people get whenever they read that kindness post, support small accounts. I'm like, now I got an extra reason just to maybe annoy them a little bit. I really do it.
Repel them.
I really do it for the extra reason, like just to annoy them, because I know I'm going to get at least like 2 or 3 of them, and I'm going to go block, please, you know?
So basically, the lesson here is repel more than you attract.
That's actually very true, because you got to optimize your audience. It's not just attract your audience. You got to optimize it as well, right? It's kind of like you go to a conference, right? You're not going to attend every speech, because not every speech is going to resonate with you. The whole idea of a conference will, maybe, right? But like certain bits of it won't. Same goes for LinkedIn. It's like your entire niche. It's maybe like a super specific industry, super specific service, super specific ICP. But within those ICPs, you will still find people who you need to alienate, because there's just this one small thing that they don't vibe with. And it is what it is. You got to do it.
I mean, honestly, what you said with vibe attracts your tribe, for me was...
Part 2, don't forget. Don't forget part 2.
Bricks.
Exactly.
For me was like, you build conviction, right? When you get clients, you get the results for them, whether you show them or not. In you build, you know you're worth the thing.
Yeah.
The other side of it for me was congruence. If I'm getting 5K, 10K, 50K, insert number, and the moment I sign, like you just said, I don't feel aligned with the client, I start resenting it. I don't want to follow through.
Yep.
So for me, it used to be blame yourself, but actually you can not blame, but fix your messaging.
Exactly.
Fix who you repel, fix which prick you kick away. So that way your vibe will literally bring someone who's so energetically aligned, where I've had cases, I said, maybe you wrote the post out of desperation. Maybe you showed up from a lower energy frequency, and then the person who walked through the door maybe it was perfect for the first few days, and then 1 week later, some shit hit the fan. And I always sort of use that quote now, because if I write from a place of alignment and a place of care and love, and just serve without the transaction, without the need, you just like sort of ooze in that. It's something you can't explain, which is a frequency.
But you got to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Because if you're like always high energy, never low energy, you don't give them the full spectrum, right? And then it's like people are going to join maybe the community, they're going to become a client, but they never get the full picture. And then you're always going to have those cases where you hate it.
Yeah.
Something around the experience is going to be, not enjoyable. That's why I got to keep posting personal content. I keep telling this to people. It's like, it's not enough to have like 3 businessy topics, content pillars, whatever you want to call it. You got to have a 4th one. You got to have a personal angle somewhere. Stories, experiences.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be trauma dumps. Like, I feel like this is also a misconception. Like, whenever we say, write personal posts, people write like trauma stories. I'm like, don't do that.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's not a therapy session. Like, just write stuff from your own personal experiences, stuff you believe in, maybe something that happened earlier on in your career, but that reshaped how you think now, right? That's a personal story, personal experience. It doesn't have to be, I used to be, beaten as a kid, and now I'm like, I look at life through a tough lens. Like, no, not that. Right? Because it's a weird story to read on LinkedIn. And it's like, business-wise, who cares? I
mean, what you said is really valid. Like the other week, I had an experience that was tiny. It wasn't like a hero's journey. I screwed up on Calendly, and I had 3 or 4 double bookings.
Just saying congrats, because it happened to me as well on Monday.
And I was just like, you know what? Today was a bad day, like first world problems, okay, Calendly, but that's my life right now.
Yeah.
Yesterday was a success. Today is crap. I'm going to get online. I'm going to say this problem happened. And so many people resonated. And I was like, it didn't have to be last year I'm broke and now I'm not.
Exactly.
Like all these hooks that you see. Because that was the story. It was literally a toggle switch.
And it didn't need more than that.
No.
No extra context, no extra elaboration. Just that small event, small message, boom.
Yeah, and the pricks that you mentioned were like, you should use automation, bro. And I'm like, you know what?
Yeah, for everything. Let's automate burgers. Let's automate my lava cake, man. Speaking of which, I should probably eat this because I don't want it to melt. Sorry, guys. This is a very impromptu session, so we're just enjoying it. We haven't seen each other in a full year.
Yeah.
It's actually a full year now.
It is.
Like it was last May.
Yeah.
Now it's May. There we go.
Well, it's good to bring the community with us too and just sort of share all of this, because what you said with the personal stuff is you and I have always vibed on the dad topic.
And on the melon side.
And on the, yeah, of course. The melon, the burgers, that's what brought us together. But it's like, above and beyond LinkedIn and this and that, there's so much soul and character when you see someone.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we have that thing to talk about. The first thing we did today is show pictures. Oh, here's my son, here's my daughter. Like, acknowledge the human versus meeting someone and you just know them for their hooks or you know them for their strike balance. It's like, bro, you are so soulless.
That second example, I feel like you were hitting at a specific someone.
Oh yeah, we don't name them. But
we listen, but we don't.
You've commoditized yourself to the point where you're, if we take it outside of LinkedIn,
the entire content is just around the income. I've made this, I've made that, I've made this. Yeah, there's no person behind it.
And the funniest example I can think of outside of LinkedIn is in Cyprus, we've got like an overflow of accountants. Everyone's an accountant. It's just the thing. And I always tell people, like, why do you have your accountant? I mean, I know the balance is going to be sorted, but I support that guy and I've been with him for 5 years because we support the same basketball team. And that's what ties us together. The strategy is the easy thing. Like the life side, the personal thing. Let's talk basketball and then give me my accounts and I'm going to go home. So when you show up with more personality, or what we've been talking about is like sharing more of the person that you are. Some days it is the Calendly toggle button. Other days it is.
It really is. But you can also kind of, I feel like, at least in my case, over the years, I've kind of learned how to gauge who's real and who's not.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean,
because you can sense it from the comments, you can sense it from the content. Because if all the comments are like super negative, but then like all the posts are super polished and super positive, I'm like, something doesn't add up.
Yeah.
Something doesn't add up. Okay, if it's one day, like you had a bad day, like you probably prepped that post in advance. It was, high energy, okay. And then like you had a bad day and like now you're attacking everyone in the comments. But it's like, if you do it every single day, I don't trust you.
I mean, I've seen some people, don't want to name them, like just like when I come to support you, right? We joke around in the comments, like openly call out what they disagree with. And you're there like, bro, I wish you well. I hope you have a great day sort of thing.
Exactly. Like,
why are you so angry? And then there was one occasion where I actually got curious and I was like, let me just go and see what this guy's all about. And it was such...
Because you can see everyone's comments. It's public, right? And you can check it out.
And I clicked on the profile, I went in, and it was this like masculine bro, yo, hustle bro sort of mentality. And I'm like, I don't get it. Like, what are you achieving by bringing in this energy when this person is just trying to help?
I feel like there's a big difference on social media. Like if you disagree with an expert, because we're all experts out there, we can agree on that, at least somewhat. But then it's like you read something and you have a different point of view. I feel like it's one thing to disagree and then offer an alternative, because then it's like constructive criticism. It's a constructive discussion versus, yeah, right. No way you did this. Oh, this is going already. Yeah. And it's like, why even write a comment like that? Like, I'm just asking, like, genuinely, what's the point?
Yeah, what are you looking for?
Like, who's going to resonate with that? Did you say something new? No. You just tried to insult someone. You ended up insulting your own brand. I don't get it. And luckily, I see it less and less because I keep unfollowing, bad accounts. And I feel like this is also one of the things that doesn't get talked about enough. People do not unfollow enough people.
Yeah.
We always talk. I actually commented on one of your posts last week. You were writing about this whole thing like that we were talking about right now. Like, who's real? Like, I feel like I'm missing all the real stories, like the real people.
Yeah.
My problem was, it was you. It was, who was it? Jessica Turley or someone, like right after you in the feed. And there was someone else as well, like right after the feed. And I'm like, there's 3 people in a row in the feed, all complaining about LinkedIn, all complaining about the lack of authenticity, all complaining about the same thing. And then I commented on yours.
Yeah, you were like, go and unfollow.
Like, are we sure we're unfollowing enough people? I remember that comment. Like, and then people were like, yes, like finally. Yeah. I'm like, we just got to unfollow more people. We don't do that enough. It's not a habit.
Yeah, because for me, it was like every time I logged in, I almost didn't want to log in. It was like AI, fakeness, this, that, the Stripe transactions. And I went, hold on a minute. And ever since I actually saw the comment and I have been unfollowing, it brings a different vibe. And that's the whole...
You got to optimize your feed, man. I feel like we don't do that enough. To be fair, it's not even that complicated. Someone asked me this yesterday, like, how do you unfollow more people? Or how do you get better? No, the question was, I said, you got to find 2 to 3 new people every day, like kind of to comment on, to not be stuck in this echo chamber. Because a lot of people are just stuck commenting on the same accounts every single day, and it does get boring. And I just said, you know what? I just rely on LinkedIn's recommendations.
Yeah.
Genuinely, I don't like actively search for people, keywords, this and that. Now, the more I unfollow and the more I engage with the content that's relevant, those recommendations keep being more relevant. And I feel like we just don't do that enough as a species, LinkedIn species, you know? We don't do that enough. Unfollowing is a genuine necessity daily, as counterintuitive as it sounds on a social media platform.
Yeah, because also when you do follow the ones you want, I think the algorithm's changed now and you get more of that type of person in your feed. It's sort of like, oh, you didn't like this one from a week ago. I'm going to show you his content.
This is also, now that you mentioned that, we can probably tackle the topic of reach, low reach on LinkedIn. Because I've been saying this last year because I noticed the trend. 2 years ago, the way it used to work, right? Everyone was happy with their impressions. Everyone. No one complained, right? It's like, oh, you get 100,000 per post or more if it goes slightly more viral, right? You get a little bit, you know, more reposts, 300K, 500,000 views. And no one complained. But then I noticed a trend. The year after, meaning last year, I would see one post in the feed, like, let's say I log in, you're the first person that pops up, right? And for whatever reason, I get distracted. I don't know, my son calls me, I go over there, and next time I log in, like I refresh, you're no longer there. The difference between that and the previous years was I could see you again.
Yeah, because I would show up.
LinkedIn would show up a good post multiple times. It would show it in the feed again and again and again. And the way it started working last year when the impressions dropped for everyone is the distribution became different, meaning the post was only shown once. Whether you engage with it, whether you don't engage with it, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It would only be shown once and then that's it. And I feel like that's exactly where all those impressions were coming from. It's not necessarily less viewers, fewer viewers. It's just fewer views per person.
I see.
You see, because if you had 50,000 viewers, unique readers on a post 2 years ago, let's say they were shown on average 4 to 5 times, you would get like 200K, 250,000 views.
It logs it once.
This year, right? It's like 50,000 views, and you're like, holy moly, like only 50,000 views on a super viral post. But it's not necessarily that you have a smaller audience.
I'm also seeing, though, that the proportion between the engagement and the views has changed, and also the lag time. So 3 days later, I'll log in and I'll be like, oh, this post
now that's a bonus.
Yeah.
That's also another change in the algorithm that no one's seemingly talking about. Like, no one's thankful for this. The lifspan of a post, and Richard Vanderblom, our good buddy for the algorithm report, they've also seen this. The lifespan of a post has prolonged. It used to be like, a day or 2 days max.
You see it over a week or 2 plus now.
Exactly. Like you get 5-day-old posts, 7-day-old posts, 2-week-old posts, and no one's talking about this. And I'm like, yes, technically we are getting fewer impressions on paper, but it's not necessarily a smaller audience, fewer people, and it also lives longer in the feed. Because someone might log in this week. Like that used to be a problem. I remember this because I've had this conversation many times. A lot of people have told me, I don't see every post of yours. Like I didn't log in, and then I get like 5 of them. Right? When I log in, I get like one after the other. This year, it doesn't happen, right? Because they log in every once in a while. But what does happen is LinkedIn will show them old posts after the fact.
Yeah, like I noticed with you, because when I support, if I maybe miss a day or 2, then I'll get 3 back to back.
And all of a sudden you see a new post and you're like 2 days old. Like, how did I miss this? How did I miss this? Now it happens. It didn't happen 2 years ago, man.
And they also
if you missed it, you missed it.
What's it called? The video feed also comes up. So I noticed if I like your post or comment on it, not just view it, then the distribution of how many of your future posts I will see has something to do with it, but I didn't look into it too much.
I feel like they've optimized it a bit more for active users and not new users and new networks. In the past, it used to be, let's push it to outer networks, 2nd degree and 3rd degree, as much as we can. And whatever happens in the 1st degree, like your closest connections, okay, who cares? Because they were still lacking content. That's the problem. Now, they're still lacking content, but not as much. So there's a higher chance to distribute more individual content, right?
Yeah, I mean,
There's more
on the,
creators, more posts in the feed.
I think this is a really nice question that I was also asked. Love to hear
I
your
obsess
take.
over this, just so you know. Like, I really follow this.
Yeah.
Like, I obsess over this because I try to understand it for myself, for clients, for my community members. I try to
Yeah.
understand it for everyone, and
I
there needs
mean,
to be an explanation. And this is the explanation. It's not that we're necessarily getting fewer views. It's just the distribution that's changed.
yeah, I mean, what I'm sensing, obviously with the rise of AI, and there's nothing against that side. If anything, when you're human now, you have more of an advantage.
Yeah.
But what I'm seeing is when we started LinkedIn, anything you put up would just blow up because of the algorithm. Nowadays,
But it was human content.
and it was human content.
There was better writing.
Yeah. And everybody learned the tricks, the hooks, the call to actions, the whatevers. Now I feel like the content distribution is probably at a 6 or 7x because it's so much easier to post, but it doesn't necessarily mean that what you're posting is good.
Exactly.
And that's where
we haven't realized, like, somewhere down this timeline, this Infinity Saga timeline, right? I feel like we never stopped to kind of pinpoint the moment where, on average, the writing started to suck.
Yeah.
It used to be better, like you said. And that was the reason why everything would blow up, because it was more human writing. It would be real writing, raw. Nowadays, M dashes all over the place, right? It used to be this, now it's this. Like, all of those comparisons, and it's like ChatGPT.
I mean,
language
that's
all
what we were talking about over our lunch here. Like the other day, you put up a post. It was you in the car looking at your watch.
Yeah.
And you've, like, to me, that was like, this guy's human.
But that's an old school type of LinkedIn post.
Yes. And
right?
It doesn't matter if you have 5 followers or 50,000 or 500,000. In that moment, for you as a creator, that's what had to be posted.
Yep.
That's what felt real and true.
Fun fact, that post on average got like 60% more impressions.
Because it was real.
It was not an educational type of post, right? It wasn't like niche specific, like LinkedIn growth, copywriting, this and that.
Yeah.
It was like an actual human being type of post. I checked my impressions.
But also what resonated was the dad thing again, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going...
Every now and then I'll talk about it. I try not to. Like, maybe once every like 2 or 3 months, I'll write a post about, being a dad or dad lessons or being a single dad or something. I try not to use it as part of my brand, but I feel like every time I write about it, so many good people resonate. I get so many messages. I don't know, man. What I'm trying to say is I'm fighting the urge to treat LinkedIn as a business platform only. I really want to treat it like a human platform. I don't just want to see business stories, and every single day is like, how do you funnel this? Strategy for this? And, oh my God,
Jesus
I can't take, like, and I'm a teacher, I'm a professor.
Yeah.
Like, I should be the one who's like pushing for all this knowledge. And I'm like, at a certain point, you get tired of just learning new tricks and learning new tips. Like, I want to get I want to get to know the person behind the tips.
I mean, don't they say people buy who you are before buying what you do?
That's very true.
And
that is very true, man.
When you go a layer deeper with your clients or friends that you've built, what they like, what they eat, what they dress, what they listen to, what they, jam with, what music they might like. That's the human side.
Exactly, right. Exactly. Like me and Ryan Musselman, we have a country band. Not a lot of people know this. It's the R&J band. There we go, man. You and I, we exchange burgers and melons.
There we go.
You never know. It's like, you got to get the person behind the content as well in the content.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't do that.
I'd love your take on, there was this bubble of, here's what personal brand means. And
I never cared about that, man.
Yeah, me neither.
It was like, because, what was it? David Breyer, like, one of the goats in sales and marketing and branding. He was a guest in my community. There was one quote. Oh my God, what did I hate myself for forgetting it now. Because someone asked him this, like, what is a brand? And he gave us, I really felt, if I don't remember now, I'll plug it in a comment below this. But he gave us such a good definition that I have not heard before. I'll probably find it. I may just search for it now in the community.
Go for it.
But he said something that was so super duper cool, man. I don't have Zoom on my phone. It's in my Zoom chat. Like, I'll try to find it. It was like a really good definition of like, what is a brand? What is a personal brand? And I feel like everyone's kind of attributing it to sales, positioning, right?
the
All of the above. And I feel like we just forget about the emotional connection.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't dig at anyone, and I will mention names because
Don't put me in hot water. I don't care.
No, it's more like, I mean, I have a lot of respect for people like Justin Welsh or Dan Coe, whatever, but coming from that universe, I felt, they're incredible humans, incredible personal brands, nothing against them, but Justin, for example, brings that like Twitter looking thing. It works for him, and we know him for that. Then it brought this sort of wave of, I'm going to just do what Justin does, even though to him that is true. To them, they just copied what was true to someone else, so you become a clone.
Yep.
Or the Hormozy captions that we see, the yellow bright ones or whatever. So in LinkedIn terms, the word personal brand had nothing personal about it.
Very true.
You became a clone of another, or one personal brand, where it was time to, I mean, I love this conversation because we're putting the person in personal
Quite literally.
And it shows that, I think, with the rise of AI and all of that, don't get me wrong, education is infinite, but people are so hungry for insight, and insight comes from actually experiencing something.
Yes.
I'd rather you call me and go, bro, I screwed up, I did this thing, or this thing happened.
And remember that thought. I have something to add to that.
Yeah.
Remember that thought. I don't know if you're finished with that one.
I was just going to say, like, I love when, whether it's you or anybody else, just goes, this thing happened, and I want to tell you about it on the phone or in a voice note, and I'm getting the raw insight. I don't care about the strategy or the info or how many DMs you, whatever. I care about the lesson, the mistake, and the realization. And I think as this evolves, there will be a lot more people hungry for the true insight because we're inundated by information.
Fun fact, a lot of the ads I'm seeing in the feed that are getting boosted by company pages are actually those. Like companies, they do something, and they're like, oh, this happened because we did it. It's not a case study post by any means. It's just like, look at what happened after we've XYZ. And it's like a very short post, like a 4-liner, but there's a screenshot of results. It's not a case study, like a breakdown, and then you can like sell it like a white paper or whatever. No, but they're boosting those posts because it's an individual experience. Like it was a singular event. Mm-hmm. But speaking of insight, the one thing, and you know me, like I'm obsessed with writing, psychology, all of it. The one thing that I see lacking in a lot of content is people never add their own opinion. We call this signposting, right? Because you have to add yourself into the content. Otherwise, you risk becoming a tips and tricks account.
Yeah.
Because it's like, ever traveled to Cyprus, especially to Larnaca? Here are 7 things that you should know. I could have Googled it, exactly. But if you said, ever traveled to Cyprus, especially Larnaca, you won't believe what happened yesterday. The rest of the post, same exact thing, literally copy-pasted from the previous version. But because you inserted yourself into the content, it's your insight, your POV, you can't Google this anymore, even though it's the same exact information. I like to give this example in my keynotes and my workshops where I will use the most boring examples from the feed, like 10 TED Talks for young entrepreneurs. And it's, oh my God, like, how many times have you seen that post, right? Or
7 books.
7 books, or morning productivity tips for CEOs. Like, come on, bro. But the second you add a sentence into that super boring post that speaks to your experience and your insight, for example, in the last 20 years of my career, I've trained over 20,000 young professionals.
Now you have proof.
Here are my favorite 7 TED Talks for young.
I'm listening.
You can't Google it, even though it's the same exact information. But psychologically, you're thinking, this is rooted in their experience. I can only find it now, here in this feed right now. And I have to read it. I have to click on see more. I have to scroll down. I have to see it. Because you're no longer even thinking, oh, this is boring. They've convinced you with authority, right? With their experience, with their insight.
And I also think, to sort of expand on this, a lot of people fear talking about their mistakes.
Like, 100%. It's normal. It's human. I'll give you this lesson. I feel like it's going to resonate with a lot of people. Like in psychology, we have this concept of resonance, right? Now, speaking of resonance, there's like this huge delta between what people resonate with. And it's a big mistake on social media when you see the Lambos, the cars, the big earnings, the screenshots, blah, 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 because people crave that, but they don't resonate with it because they haven't experienced it. They crave it. They don't resonate with it. What people can resonate with are failures. Because
They see themselves.
everyone's experienced failure. Not everyone's experienced a win.
Yeah.
Like that. It's like a huge
They
delta,
see
like a 90
themselves
to
through
10.
it, right?
Exactly. And they see themselves in your failure. And now, because you're the expert who's like 50 steps ahead of them, 20 years ahead of them in the game, now they don't just want to learn from you, they also resonate with you, with the person,
Yeah.
with the experience. They see themselves in you. But if you're just in a Lambo,
There's
they
nothing
see
wrong.
something,
Yeah.
they see a vision, they see something that they're chasing, but it's
It's
not them.
true, yeah.
They don't see themselves yet in it, right? Here, they see themselves immediately.
I mean, I remember when I started my journey, I used to be scared to post the mistakes.
Oh, yeah.
And then I remember distinctly when I sort of let the agency go and I wrote a post, I was like, you know, I was making good money, this and this happened, but it didn't feel aligned. And I remember being literally shitting my pants and I pressed post and so many people came and they
Good
were like,
comments.
I've got goosebumps
Yeah.
thinking about it because they were like, thank you for being real. Thank you for XYZ. I also want to quit my agency. Thank you for saying what I'm scared of saying. And I was like, oh my God. So I took that to town and I'm like, I'm just one of you. I'm a fellow wizard figuring my way out. Today was a good day. Today was a bad day. I'm going to tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly because I'm not perfect. Like, I screwed up the other day and I sent the wrong Stripe link or I set it up with my client and he messaged me and he said, bro, I just had some money come through, you made a mistake. Like,
Real experience.
I'm a silly being and that happened and I posted about it. And people were like, oh my God, like you.
And that probably made you more money than a freaking case study post.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. They were like.
Because people resonate with it instantly.
Yeah.
But they can't resonate with the, 20K a month. I mean, sure, there's resonance, but it's too far away. It's too far away. It's not instant.
But I think the resonance you said was like, you hear, especially in my world, like, you can't get clients, classic hook. You can't get clients is broad. But if I say, get really specific about
like
actually,
a singular experience and an emotion or something.
Yeah, like somebody told me, Jacob, I just wish I woke up to a calendar filled with Zoom calls.
Exactly.
And I was like, boom, that's the hook.
Same exact message.
Same thing. I need more clients or whatever. But the way you said it is like dog whistling at a frequency to someone who only knows what Zoom is a user of Zoom, and wants that thing.
Yeah.
It might get 40% less reach, 40% less.
But the conversion is going to be through the roof. Yeah. Always, always. Those personals. Yeah. I feel like we have a theme for this episode. Putting the personal in personal branding. Yeah. That's the title. If anything else has a title, man, I'll get mad. Don't ask your ChatGPT for title ideas. That's the title.
Putting the person in personal brand. Yeah, it's also like the ones you mentioned in the comments about some of the posts that I did the other day was when you said unfollow. I think to me the word unfollow meant so much because I was like, obviously it was sort of a moan, it was my opinion and people resonated and we kicked the pricks, right?
Exactly.
Oh, what are you talking about, bro? Whatever. But to me that felt so much warmer than 3 tips too, or telling someone the insight rather than the education.
Exactly.
Is when people listen.
Because everyone can relate to the feeling of being bored of your own feed.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's the hook.
Yeah.
Ever felt like you just log in and you're like, oh, you want to log back out immediately, right? Yeah. Versus, here's one tip that everyone should, okay, yes, both work, but what resonates more? Like that emotional approach, right?
Yeah, I mean,
we need more of that, man.
Yeah.
But also, to be fair, like the more I'm now unfollowing people, I haven't seen a freaking infographic in like 3 months, man. I don't know about you, but I've unfollowed all of those bigger accounts.
I need to definitely
copy-paste,
do more. More on unfollowing, but I mean,
I've unfollowed everyone. And now I get like super good recommendations in the feed. I especially get like smaller accounts, smaller creators, and it's like really good content.
Yeah.
Like because they're sharing their insights, they're really sharing those raw agency stories, right? Like failures and things like that, and I engage with it.
Do you still do what you told me 2-3 years ago, where you're like, because how we met was me or you sent each other a voice note or something?
I do.
You still do it?
I send people voice note. They get like super surprised. Oh my God, Jasmin, it's you. Because what ends up happening is, this is gonna sound so pompous, for the lack of a better word, but like I've grown now on LinkedIn. It's like this status thing, blah blah blah, big account, big rankings, this and that. I swear to God, I've had this conversation with people so many times, especially when I reach out first. People are scared to message.
Yeah.
They're scared. They're like,
because of the number, right?
yeah, because it's like the sheer number, the sheer authority, right? It's like, do I reach out? And they never do, right? They're scared. And then when I do, it's like, oh my God, Jasmin, I don't know if it's you or if it's your assistant. And then like the first message, because that really, oh man, I get so mad when someone tells me like, is it your virtual assistant? Like, I don't have a virtual assistant, and I take pride in it.
I'm here in my boxers, guys.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like no one has access to my LinkedIn account. No one, literally no one.
Yeah.
And then when I respond, like, no, it's me. I don't have, VAs. I don't have any of that. And then like I send them a voice note. I'm, oh my God, it's really you. And then immediately we start talking about, their problems, their business, because now they're like, oh my God, I can finally talk to you, right? Because I wanted to talk to you.
Yeah.
Because the premise is, right, like the bigger the account, the more help, the bigger of a team that they have behind it.
Yeah.
And then they feel like if they message me, like it's going to be someone from the team who takes care of them, or if they want my coaching, someone else is going to coach them. Because a lot of coaches do that, right? They have teams of other coaches, and like you, the person who they're actually paying for,
isn't there.
Yeah, you're not there. And that's why I feel like they're kind of scared to message. But I've had this conversation so many times. But the second I send that voice note,
I still
click,
do it
man.
as well, where nowadays I always tell myself, send 3 connection requests. Like if I vibe with the comment, I'll just send them a connect. And usually it's like, oh my God, thank you so much. And I'll still do the voice note. Like, I can't believe it. I'm like, can't believe what? Here's my dog.
I'm a
Here's
human being. Exactly. I'm a human being, much like yourself.
Yeah.
And I feel like we forget that.
Yeah.
Even at these, like, I'm here in Cyprus right now with Jacob because I was at a conference. Like, but when you go to these conferences, I'm like, people meet you and they're like, well, you're the same as you are on social media. I'm like, duh. I'm a human being. If I say I love burgers, take me to a burger place. Like, it's like, oh man.
No, it's such a lovely place when you use it from the personal side.
Yeah.
Because like you said with your buddy, Ryan, like I know him really well
Oh,
as well.
Man. But it's been like, I remember I don't know if it was you in that chat. It was definitely me. This was like 3 years ago, I swear. This was me, Ryan Musselman, Matt Barker, and I don't remember if it was...
Is it Luke and his...
It was either Jake Ward, or it was Jesse van Goygel, or it was you. One of you three. There was a chat where we wanted to have a hook competition, a hookoff.
Oh, yeah.
Who would be the LinkedIn's best hooker, right? Like that was the joke. But it never panned out. We never had that competition. We wanted to create like this, timed competition, like give me an idea for a post, and then like 5 minutes, everyone submit their hooks to the inbox, right? Because we had a group chat on LinkedIn. But it was specifically for that. Like we've never, spoken all of us together at that point. Like I don't know who created the group chat. Like it was one of us 4, right? And like that was the purpose of it, the hook off. I will never forget that. But it never panned out.
Oh yeah.
We never had the hook off. Like I'm busy, I gotta have a client. And it's like, yeah, whatever.
But at
like,
least you have that moment shared that was personal. And
but like that's how these relationships get built, man. And no one sees it. Like people see it after the fact, like, oh, he's a big creator, they're a big creator. And I'm like, you do realize like we're all just individually having fun on social media. And then like if you resonate with someone, you support them, maybe over time you will fade out, like you will grow out of that relationship because that person might pivot. They might completely change their industry, right? And they're like now in like cybersecurity or whatever. Right? I know so many of those creators, like there's still the relationship. I will just never like your content anymore.
Yeah,
because it's like I don't vibe with it. My audience will not vibe with it. Like you're in freaking,
eco
something. I don't know.
I always tell sort of my community as well that we are all just mad scientists or little wizards trying things out. And I always sort of say, I'm going to run this experiment and I will show you what worked for me. And if that aligns, you are welcome. I will never sell. I will never push. I will just show you and demonstrate, because maybe you'll learn something. Maybe you'll, like, if I can give you clarity, not a sale, I've done my job here. I've helped you continue on your wizard quest.
And even if you just do it on the fly, like literally like this, like 5 seconds, like someone asks you a question, you respond really quickly. Good, done.
Yeah.
Fine.
And if it doesn't resonate, you go down that path. I'm going to go down this path because it worked for me and it might not work for you.
Now that you mentioned that, I remember one comment. Someone tagged me in a post. I reposted it. And then there was a guy. I have no clue who it is. Because you got to understand, like over the years, I've interacted with like tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, right, individually. And the guy writes like in the comment, like, Jasmin is the best guy. He even gave me free advice via email. And I'm like, like my reaction was like, when? Like, who are you? But like, you just do it on the fly.
Yeah.
And you completely forget about it.
Yeah.
And I keep wondering now, I actually wanted to go back through my emails, through my
find it.
old LinkedIn messages, just to see how many people I've just sent that freaking voice message to and never, ever like followed up
Yeah.
after that or whatever. And I'm like, come on, man.
I mean, I joke around because I was like terrified of video for many years. And I found this cadence where I walk my dogs every morning, everyone knows that. And I grabbed the little Osmo we're recording on now, take it with me once a week, and I'll just spit bars. Whatever comes to mind, it's usually me. I've got on my phone, like a questions folder. And every time someone asks a question, I just screenshot it. And then on those dog walks, I go through them and I just answer.
Ah, makes sense.
And that cadence, like people go, don't give it all away for free. And like, technically,
it's like one answer, man.
Yeah, you could go through all this YouTube stuff and all this LinkedIn stuff and find all the answers. But people don't pay for that education.
No
they pay to
one's
be
gonna do
around you.
I always give this like answer whenever people, because you know me, like I've spoken about this, share 100% of it. And people get mad, like they get riled up, right? What do you mean share 100%? Then what am I gonna pay for in your coaching session? Your session is like $1,500 an hour. Like, what am I paying for? And I'm like, chill, guys. First of all, if your knowledge is so limited that you can just share it in a few hundred posts, you don't know enough. Like, you're not the expert you think you are. That's genuinely, whoever wants to get mad at that, get mad. The second part, when I say share 100%, it's like over time, it just compounds. And every single day you learn something new, you as the expert. So there's technically no way you can share 100% of your knowledge ever. You just need so much. But now we come to the part where it's like, then what am I paying for? Right? If I can still find it, even if I had all the time in the world, I'm going to go watch every YouTube video, every podcast, every LinkedIn post, carousel video, whatever. I'm going to find all of your knowledge, every tip you've ever shared. What am I paying you for? And then I just give them the example, because I had this conversation with a few agency buddies of mine. We were going on a trip together to a conference, and they asked me, because they're both rich, right? Like they're both successful in their jobs, like they're running a really successful agency. And ironically enough, 5 minutes before that, they were both telling me how they were at a gym working with their personal trainer. And I just asked, like, well, why the hell do you go to a gym and pay for a personal trainer? Just Google this stuff. And then they just looked at me like, I get it. Because
simple,
you got all the workouts, right? Demos,
why
like freaking,
you
can just shadow them. Like you can just copy paste the movements, right? You can watch everything, literally find all the information. And I'm like, you're still paying for that personal trainer. Why? And then they're like, because he's gonna, and they're like, because what they meant to say, he's going to adapt all of that knowledge to me only, right? It's going to be tailored, custom fit to me only. And I'm like, that's exactly what you're paying for. That's what you're paying for in a coach. You're not paying for all the knowledge. You're paying for the information that you need and you only.
In that specific interval of time.
In that specific interval of time, in that specific use case, problem, geography, market, time zone, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And I always like to give the example of personal trainers, at gyms. Like, why do you pay for it? Like, just download an app, man. There's like thousands of workouts.
Yeah, but are you going to do it?
Exactly.
But it's also, like, to me, I always say, you don't need to share 100% of the how if you don't want to.
You don't have to.
You don't have to.
But don't disagree with me when I say, here's a masterclass post, 3,000 characters, and it gets like 600 reposts.
Yeah.
Why? Because everyone's like, oh my God, this guy's crazy. And I'm like, those posts are going to generate me tens of thousands of dollars, right? And like, to a lot of people, they just don't understand it. Like, how is it that you're giving it all away and you're still generating all this money? And I'm like, you will never get it.
Yeah, I mean,
you will never get it.
For me, it's always what we touched on before on insight.
Yeah.
If I always tell clients, students, even myself, you're on the phone, you don't have a Zoom call or a camera, I'm going to pick up the phone, talk to my buddy Jasmin, and tell him what happened. I'm going to tell you exactly what happened step by step. I still can't show you the how because we don't have a camera.
Exactly.
But I've given you enough how and enough insight for you to go, oh, he has the solution to my problem. If I want 100% of it, I'm just going to go pay to play. Now, I can give you the how repeatedly. There's like Reuben Hassid. We'll know him like that.
Yeah.
He gives everything away for free 100%. Obviously, it's a different...
And he posts like 2 or 3 times
Yeah.
per day now, right?
Yeah.
So
But
there's information overload at a certain point.
Yeah. You can assemble it.
Exactly.
Okay, he's more technical, so you might do that. We did that at my agency for years, where we just gave it all away. No, if you can't code, you don't know how to put it together.
Exactly. You can write all the how-to guides.
Yeah.
If people don't know how to apply them by themselves, they're still going to come back to you.
But I feel through that, I don't know if you agree to this, you're much more potent if you give me why, not what and how. Like
I do both. I always say do both. Because if you just do how type of content, again, you risk becoming a tips and tricks guy. But for me, every type of content is a why type of content. Because the why for me is not separate. The why belongs in the what, in the how.
Yeah, you can weave it in, and then it's no longer.
That's what I try to do every single time. Like, oh, here's my commenting strategy, but why?
Yeah.
I will always explain the why inside the post. I don't separate these two per se. That's something just over the years that I've mastered. It takes practice, but I don't separate it. The why, for me, it's not necessarily more important. It just needs to belong there.
I see. For me, I don't know. I guess it came more easy to go, like, today I wrote a why post. This is why I do this stuff.
Can I just tell you why I feel like that? Because for me, if I just talk about the why, it feels incomplete. I feel the urge to make it actionable.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to make it a how post anyhow, even if I'm like talking about this freaking thing, right? Like super cool orange juice. Yeah, exactly. But like, I want to include a step in there. Like, enjoy the moment. Who cares? Like, that's still actionable, right?
Yeah.
Versus skipping that part. And then I just talked about orange juice, why, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay, what do I do now? For me, that's always the most irritating situation when I read someone's post and my question is like, what do I do now? I have no clue. Like, there's nothing for me to apply from that post.
Yeah, it's a nice sort of way, because in my head, maybe it's just the way we think. It's like, if I give you why or a story of what happened, you resonate. And then tomorrow, I'm going to do I call them show posts. Like break down, demonstrate how I wrote an email, how I did an offer, how I did whatever. So you build the resonance. I could, though, take what
you can technically theme it out if you're, but I don't post that often. I don't post that much. I don't want to, man. 4 posts maximum per week. I'm good. If I'm traveling, skip a day. It's fine. If I'm sick, skip the week. It's fine. It's fine. No one's going to, there's still plenty of content. I'm still going to get tagged like 50 times per day. I can repost something of someone else's. It's more than enough. I feel like information overload is a real thing. And as much as we have to, pay attention to how we take it in the information, we also have to pay attention to how much information we're actually putting out there. Because posting too much, man, is draining. It's draining. It really is. As much as we enjoy the social media game, the engagement and all that, I like my life, man. I love my 3-day weekends. I love spending time with my son. Funny, last week, I had the biggest announcement in my community. It was like the winner of my Bosnia trip. Like, I fly once per quarter. I fly one person out to Bosnia. I pay for their flight, their hotel, in-person coaching, everything. I made the announcement. It was Friday morning, and I shut my laptop down because Friday afternoon, I pick up my son and we're together for 3 days. I literally put my laptop to charge. I remember, like, as I was heading out to pick him up, I was like, okay, we're going to come back home and he's going to storm in. And I don't want him to step on the laptop. So what I've done is I've plugged my laptop in to charge and I've tilted it up against the sofa so he doesn't hit it. I haven't plugged it out until Monday morning. I haven't touched my laptop for 3 days, man. And that's exactly what I want. I don't want social media to run my life. I want a life that's designed that way so I can just have fun on social media. It is what it is. Make enough money. That's it. I don't want to become a gazillionaire, man. I have enough. I can retire tomorrow. Genuinely, I wouldn't regret anything.
All of us, we when you see it as a tool and you detach, it's what you said at the beginning of today when we met. I didn't understand the dadness until I had it.
Until you become a dad, exactly.
And now LinkedIn is a tool. The community is this, that. Like, you are using this to be free, not to be glued to it. And I think to summarize this whole conversation, we had put the person in personal brand, unfollow not just followers that don't serve you, but unfollow what doesn't serve you as a human being.
101%.
So you can follow your son, follow your hobbies, follow your life, and
Man,
repel the
we're out
force.
here not teaching social media anymore, man.
It's mindset at
Yeah,
the end of the
man.
day here.
New book coming out next month.
Burgers and more.
Burgers and that was cool, because the menu just said burgers and more over there when we were eating.
Yeah.
No, burgers, mindset, and more.
Yeah.
There we go. There we go. Burgers should be first, just to throw people off.
I think, yeah. Burgers and more. Watermelon for dessert. And
What if we named the book Burgers, Mindset, and More, but there was a melon icon just to throw them off even more? What do you mean burger and there's a watermelon? Oh, man.
Oh, this was really enjoyable.
It was a pleasure, man.
I think we'll share it in the community, see what
we're going to share this recording in 2 separate communities, in Modern Maker and in LinkUp. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. And by the way, I still want to invite you to do a session if you want to do like likewise. A full Q&A. There we go.
There's the offer.
There you go. There you go.
We made an offer.
So 2 sessions coming, just so you guys know. Maybe we can even have a shared Zoom link so both communities
let's merge them together.
There we go, man. Bye, everyone. Thank you. That was awesome, man.
Oh, yeah.
So, Jacob.
Welcome home.
We're already confirmed for next year.
Yeah.
So we'll see each other next year, just so you know.
Like 3rd one in a row.
Yep. 3 years in a row hanging out, man.
Yeah, it's been good. They treated you well, right?
They do. That's why I keep coming back. The food is nice. You know this.
Crack the burger right now as well. See how this is going to go.
So, yeah, for those of you watching, we just... So there's a plane literally right there. We're at an airport. We just had burgers, and it was actually really good. Like, the beef was amazing. I'd give it a 8 out of 10.
Yeah, solid.
Right? Solid 8. Yeah.
Solid 8. Had the coleslaw too. And how does it feel?
Liberating.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm not addicted to it.
Yeah.
Because you really got to think about it to kind of schedule your headaches, especially when you're traveling.
Oh my God, I can't imagine. Like,
you know?
I go 3 hours without it.
Exactly.
My head's like...
Now I'm not even thinking about it.
Yeah.
Now I just sleep freely. I wake up, no headache. I don't care.
That's good.
There you go. So coffee-free life.
Yeah.